Alright, got another war video for you here. We are up against xK9. This is war number 9, by the way. I have talked quite a bit about xK9 in my war scoreboard videos, but they did shell, and if you're not sure what shelling is, really I've got two suggestions for you, because I just don't want to talk about it anymore. You can either watch the last war scoreboard video that I posted, the War 9 update, or KT just posted his war video against xK9. They faced xK9 in War 10, and he also talked about xK9 and shelling, and explained kind of what shelling is for those who aren't aware. So I'll leave that to you if you're interested in getting more information about shelling to watch one of those other videos. But the bottom line is, it's just a shady thing to do. It's not technically against the rules. It's just a manipulation of the system, and yeah, it's one of those situations where you've got a person, or in this case a group of people, that are clearly trying to take advantage of something at the expense of others, and there aren't really any rules in place to prevent that, and so you just really want to beat these guys, because you don't want people like that to be able to get away with shit like that, basically. So we really wanted to beat them. And we knew that we were going to have an excellent clear again to have a chance. Our previous war, we faced Noon. We only died twice. We lost on a tiebreaker, but we were pretty happy with that clear. And we knew that for this war, really, we need to either replicate that clear or beat that clear. And because xK9 they're an elite alliance. I mean, they're very, very good. So, alright, this fight, obviously incredibly sloppy. I am running half suicides here with the bleed, just to gain the bleed immunity in this fight, because I'm taking node 26, which is Conflictor and Hazard Shift Shock Bleed, with Apocalypse. And I wanted to gain bleed immunity prior to entering that fight, because if I didn't, then in that fight, of course, I could hit during the bleed phase and gain bleed immunity that way, but I would also take some damage from those bleed debuffs for 8 seconds until I gained the immunity, and that's just less health overall that I had to work with in that fight had I not gained immunity prior. And that fight is much more dangerous than this one. This is essentially a diversity placement if you leave Apocalypse unbanned. So, and you know, I'm playing this fight very, very poorly. The spacing, I don't know. It's just a very sloppy fight, and ultimately, it's just going to cost me potions, because Kingpin is, with the exception of a few nodes that really make Kingpin problematic, Kingpin is very tough to die to with Apocalypse. But, okay. First genetic code has been secured. We've got bleed immunity. Gonna have to use a couple potions, but not really a huge deal. Alright, in this next fight, it is Dragon Man. In the previous war, I used Apocalypse here. I just had kind of a mental lapse. Used Apocalypse here trying to pick up a genetic code, but he doesn't gain genetic code against robots, so yeah, I just subjected myself to a horribly tedious fight, because you can't knock Dragon Man down. But we're going to use our rank 3 White Magneto. Now, there are a couple benefits here. Obviously, it's just a good matchup in general. Dragon Man is, of course, metal, and I have a 70% chance to shut the node down. You guys are going to see that 3 times in a row the power charge buff is not prevented, which is just honestly hilarious, because he's got a 30% chance to proc against White Magneto, and it does 3 times in a row. So interesting, but that's not really a big deal. The major benefit here is that when White Magneto defeats a metal defender or a metal opponent, he gains 2 extra persistent charges. And now basically it starts a quest with 6 persistent charges. You can use 2 of those to place guidance, which is very valuable in Alliance War, especially at the higher tiers. And just getting an extra 2 persistent charges allows us to place a 4th guidance in Alliance War. So that's good, and we're definitely going to do that. Alright, here I'm just going to end the fight with an SP3. I was trying to end it with combo hits there just because I didn't want to sit through the SP3 animation, but yeah, we have to anyway, not a big deal, but now we've got 4 guidances that we can place. So my next fight here is Wong on node 26. That's the Conflictor Hazard Shift node that I was talking about. If you guys are planning, one thing that I try to do is I just try to simplify matchups for everyone. And one of the ways that you can do that is if a champ like Apocalypse is not banned, you know that there are 2 Conflictor nodes on the map. He completely bypasses Conflictor because he reduces Purify ability accuracy by 100%. So as long as the defender is not either ability accuracy reduction immune like Mysterio or Old Man Logan, or a champ with increased ability accuracy like Longshot. Easiest way to simplify a Conflictor fight is, can Apocalypse take this fight? If he can, send Apocalypse. And that's essentially kind of my, that's kind of my philosophy. And, sticking with the theme of this war, and really this season with Apocalypse, maybe just because I haven't been able to play him much, because the previous couple seasons he's been banned quite a bit, but it's just a really sloppy fight. I lost 35% of my health right away in this fight, but you guys can see that this is just a crazy matchup, and Apocalypse, even with just 2 genetic code, is, way too much for Wong to handle. Okay, next fight is Valkyrie. This is really my only clean fight of the war, unless you, I guess the Dragon Man fight was fairly clean, but I'm gonna be using Apocalypse here as well. Got to heal this fella up. He is a thick fella, so he's pretty expensive if you are prone to mistakes like I am. But he also can keep you alive, and I'm sure you guys saw the thumbnail. He is going to try his hardest to keep me alive in a fight that I have absolutely no business winning, and we'll see what happens there. But alright, so this fight is very simple. Valkyrie is a global defender, so anytime she hits my block, she's going to gain a flourish buff, which is going to increase her combat power rate. Doesn't really matter. You guys also probably noticed that she had a Fury passive and also got some power gain at the start of that fight. And that's because Wong places a crossfight ability on you when you defeat him. The next champ that you face will start with power gain. They just gain a bar of power, so it's not really a problem if you're prepared for it. And certainly isn't a problem for a defender like Valkyrie. But yeah, alright, so because I am running half suicides here, because I've got the recoil mastery on, I am going to be throwing my SP3s here just to try to conserve some of my health so I don't have to just continuously purge potions. And this isn't going to do a ton of damage because I'm not at full ramp. I've only got 3 genetic code, but it's going to do about 30% of her health. Yeah, about 30% of her health. And then I'm going to try to bait this. She's going to be a little bit stingy here, but once I get to the SP2, I can finish the fight with the SP2 without suffering any recoil damage. Okay, and then the next fight is a Quicksilver on node 43 with Nick Fury. This fight is explained away already. So let's just start talking about that Quicksilver. So the reason the Quicksilver is placed on node 43 is because it has a knockdown protection, and if you parry him, if he is stunned and you try to hit him, he will automatically evade. He'll also automatically evade if you try to intercept him. But it's very easy to knock him down without stunning him. Number one, you can just play him stun immune, beta heavy, and counter heavy. His heavy attack, you can also use Nick Fury because he starts with 6 tactical charges against an Avenger, and all he needs is 5 to prevent evade. And also, the main reason I don't recommend placing Quicksilver here is because for alliances that are inclined, or if you have, mini bosses that are at risk of being Corvused, he is a very easy double charge or double mission for Corvus. You just get the evade mission easily, and he's obviously an Avenger. That's another mission. So I think there are better places to put Quicksilver. I think that Quicksilver overall is a really valuable defender, even though most defenders aren't going to get kills in Tier 1 at this point. Of the 50 that are going to be placed in every battle group, he's got to be in the top 5 likeliest to get a kill, just because he's such a pain in the ass on certain nodes, but that's not one of them. So anyway. Okay, and then my last fight of the war, the ugliest of them all, and it is a rank 5 Nick Fury on Conflictor, node 51. Now this one has a lot more health than node 26. And it's also got the Combat Deja Vu prowess, so if you repeat the same basic attack, then he'll gain a prowess buff. But yeah, so again, Conflictor is, we can just cross that out completely because we're using Apocalypse. But I am going to be doing medium-light combos just to prevent him from gaining a bunch of prowess, mainly because I don't want him to throw an SP1, and if he does, I don't want it to have a ton of prowess and just do a ton of damage. But we can use the global defensive tactic to our advantage here by intentionally blocking hits, stacking up his flourishes, which increases the combat power rate, and then we can more easily push him to an SP2 and dex that. So I'm going to try to not hit his block at all in this fight. I do it a couple times, but I'm going to try to limit doing that because I want him to have those flourishes there. I do that mostly for just for spacing to try to bait an SP2 because I didn't want to get cornered. But again, ideally I want him to have flourishes so that I can get him to his SP2 quicker. So we're going to block reparry. We're going to throw this SP2 just for damage. And now we're just going to bait this SP2. And I always do get nervous baiting his SP2 when he's very close. He's close enough to a bar of power that if I get caught on a dashback or something, he can get to an SP3. And yeah, I don't want that. So alright, we're just repeating the same process, medium light, very safe. Here, definitely getting nervous, so I'm going to hit his block. The reason that I'm not hitting his block 2 times is because now with 4 genetic code, my first light attack into his block will stun him, which isn't a big deal because Conflictor isn't a factor, but I didn't want to do that because he was over 2 bars of power, and I just don't want to push him over 2 bars. Now, obviously you guys saw the thumbnail. I do make a huge mistake in this fight, and really it's a tactical mistake that kind of leads and snowballs into other mistakes. And the tactical mistake here is I push him into his real Nick mode, or I kill his LMD, and I want to bait this SP2, and I'm not going to punish the SP2 because I'm more concerned right now about just buying myself time and letting his degen naturally tick him down, which is definitely a good strategy, but in my opinion you don't want it to be so detrimental that you get yourself cornered. Here I get myself cornered, and because of that Fury, he is just murdering me through the block. And because of the flourishes now, I am cornered. This is worst case scenario for me. So there, he throws a couple hits into my block. I am down to 1%. And I have no choice but to throw this SP3 and cross my fingers that it kills him. It does not. So here I just have to throw a medium right out of the gate. Fortunately, I'm able to land it. The medium honestly was not a good idea. First of all, it's an awful situation to be in. Likelihood of surviving that is very, very low. But if you are in that position with Apocalypse, with 4 genetic code, I recommend spamming light attacks out of that SP3 animation because, again, if it does hit his block, you will stun him. So anyway, we escape yet again with Apocalypse. That's our second fight this season with Apocalypse, where we fell below 8% health and somehow came out alive. I still have not died with rank 4 Apocalypse. I don't know how many fights I've taken with him at this point, but it's probably close to a couple hundred. I don't know, maybe at least over 100. But, okay, so unfortunately we did lose. We did clear with another 150 and 2, so we only had 2 deaths again, and we lost again. Very disheartening, but at least it feels good to be playing well. But then, of course, it also sucks to lose to an alliance that, you know, you just want to beat so badly. So it is what it is. That's just how it goes. I am 60 and 2 on the season. Not great, not awful. My 2 deaths were both on node 47. Just really stupid. I have stopped assigning that node to myself. I won't be taking that node anytime soon. But that's it, guys. Leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you like these videos, or if you just want to see when they get posted. And I'll catch you in the next one.